Anthony Cortez Haynes here, standing with Kris Statlander. And I know you're new to this planet, and I know...
Kris Statlander is one of the rare wrestlers that possesses the ability to work a good match with literally anyone, male, female, or otherwise. So good that it would seem that she comes from another planet. Perhaps this is why, early on in her career, she found herself simply more comfortable claiming that she was in fact an alien. She found that being able to claim that her strange behavior and mannerisms, even when she was backstage in the locker room with the other wrestlers, was simply easier to explain away if she simply came from another planet. I'm Mr. Hartgrave, the only AEW historian, and you are now in the middle ground between light and shadow, between fact and fiction. It is an area which we call From Parts Unknown.
I've been telling people on this channel to subscribe, and they won't.
Yes?
What can we do about that? Can you help me out? Maybe if you tell them to subscribe, they'll do it.
Threaten them. I'll threaten them for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. You don't have to do it till you're cursed.
Kris Statlander would sign with All Elite Wrestling in December of 2019 and shortly after go on to defeat Britt Baker to become the #1 contender for the AEW Women's World Championship. She had matches in the company before, but clearly, after signing a contract, there was an immediate push into the spotlight for Statlander. Kris would come up short in her first attempt to claim a women's title in AEW, but it would not be long until she would get her second opportunity, this time against Nyla Rose, who had claimed the title from Riho just a few weeks prior to their encounter. Once again, she would come up short and her push would come to a sudden and tragic halt when Statlander would suffer an ACL injury to her left leg in June of 2020 on an episode of Dynamite.
You just see all your friends and everyone doing it awesomely on TV, and you're just like, man, I just want to be a part of that so bad, and I just feel like I'm useless to this division. So there was a good 2-3 straight months where I cried every single night because I felt like I had just been failing everybody. And yeah, and I don't even know what happened when I got injured. I just did a suicide dive, and the way I landed, I guess, was not perfectly right. You can actually see the dive on TV when I heard it, but all you see is me quickly grab my leg when I go down, and then the camera's off of me. But it doesn't even look like I did anything super insane, or it doesn't look like a very noticeable oh, she messed up her leg there. You cannot tell at all. So I have no idea what happened. I just kind of felt a little in my leg, and then it didn't even hurt that bad either. I was just ugh. Oh boy. I don't feel like I'm doing anything special sometimes. I feel like it's just kind of me going out there, just being myself and just trying my hardest. So it's always so weird to me when people are just over the moon about what I can, about me as a wrestler. And then there's also the fans that are just oh, the alien thing is stupid, man. But it's the only when I started doing the alien thing, it's the first thing that made me feel like I was really me in the ring, and it made me feel so much more comfortable. So you know what, if the alien changes, it does. If it doesn't, sorry.
Yeah.
It helped me get to where I am today. So I have no, I feel like it has not done me any disservices doing this alien stuff. People say I'm one of the most awkward people they've ever met, and I'm very friendly, but I get it. I just do weird things all the time, and you can ask anybody that's been in the locker room with me. I don't know, the way I act, for some reason, it's just so strange, and I'll just do weird things. I got this obsession with just curling my lip like this, and I'll just do that all the time for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fun, when people will give you a compliment and you kind of don't want to accept it. You're just thanks.
It's very Jim Carrey. It reminds me of Fire Marshal Bill,
It's just that just weird charm where you're just I don't know what's going on with this person, but it's cool with me. I feel like that's the embodiment of what I am sometimes. And I feel when you meet someone like that, you're just are you sure you're from here? Are you sure you're not from somewhere else, space? I feel like that's kind of how people try and make sense of it in their heads. You gotta be either on drugs or from somewhere else to be acting like this. And
okay, fair enough.
Drugs scare me. So
fair enough.
the other, I'm a very, very strange, odd person. So it's just I have so much common sense and no common sense at the same time. Book smart in a few things, but the biggest idiot at the same time ever. So it's just I don't know. I'm a very just odd person, and I always sort of felt how when you think of aliens, it's you think of them as something that you don't want to believe exists, or it's too strange, so you don't think about it and you don't care to get to learn more about it. Mm-hmm. But then when you get to know some more about it and you start to get a little interest, you're oh, this is actually really cool. And I feel like that's kind of how people used to interpret me a lot if they would ever meet me in school. Mm-hmm. It'd always be no one ever wants to get to know you until they start to get to know you. So that's kind of it's my weird way of finding a way to express myself without to really embrace that inner, just be who you are, no matter how strange it is kind of how the whole alien thing came up, because we all little outcasts sometimes. AEW has been an amazing place to be a part of, and it's been a blessing, and I feel at home there, and it's very, very welcoming and embracing, and it's a very big family environment. But it was very stressful for me, and I think I just mostly put a lot of pressure on myself, because I just felt like I wasn't sure if I was ready, no matter how many people told me that I was. So it was a very scary situation. And at the time, both my trainers were working for WWE. So it felt weird to have the brand new opposing company kind of come out there and contact me about wanting to use me when stuff with WWE wanting to happen too. But I didn't hear anything from WWE for a while. And then AEW brought me in for the dark match. And then it was kind of like the second I got there, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we pretty much want to hire you. And then I was like, but both of my trainers gave me, like, I kind of felt like I needed that blessing from my trainers. So I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to that's a not your company type thing. But now neither of them work there. So unfortunately, but they've both been very supportive. Everyone at Creative Pro has been extremely supportive of me. So everyone made sure that I felt comfortable and felt like reassured me that I did end up making the right decision.
But it was like 2 weeks into training, I was learning how to do up and overs. And one of my, like, not official trainers, but like side trainers, VSK, he was training that day. And it was his first time like training with me. And I wasn't as strong as I was now, or as I am now. And I went too far forward and I hit my face on the ring post and I busted myself open. So, and then I remember, and I was working with him, so I did an up and over, and then I was about to do something else, and I was like, wait, can we just stop? And I just, the blood just dripped down my face. And I was like, can we just wait a second? But then I just wiped it off. I put a Band-Aid on my forehead and I got right back to training. So,
Nice.
The start of stupidity.
We have you, Trent, Hook, MJF. Who's your favorite Long Islander in AEW besides?
Oh, that's tough. We have a lot of us. We've taken over. I don't want to say John Silver, but he's my mortal enemy, but he's the one that I wrestled that kind of gave me my breakout match, so I have to give him credit, and I hate that you made me say that. That's not. When I returned in the Arcade Anarchy match, it's one of my favorite moments in all of wrestling, because that's when I joined the Best Friends officially, and I had that iconic moment with Penelope where I bashed her face with plexiglass. A lot of great things in that one. So that one's very, very sentimental for me.
Statlander would make a hero's return during the Arcade Anarchy match in 2021 and work her way back up the women's division rankings to challenge the then champion Britt Baker at All Out that year. And although she would not win the match, she would give Baker one of the two best matches of her career at that time. Kris would become a workhorse of the women's division from when she came back in 2021 all through the end of the year, well into 2022, where once again she would suffer a catastrophic ACL injury, this time to her right leg, that would once again take her out of action.
I originally got the idea to do some sign language because on the indies, sometimes if I was a bad guy, I would do like an F and a U. So I'd say F-U to my entrance, which like no one knew what it meant, but I did, and it was funny to me. So sometimes I would do that, and that's kind of where I got the idea to find a way to incorporate sign language a little bit more, just because it's so different and it's not really. Especially like if there is a deaf person watching TV and they actually see something like that instead of just having to read the subtitles all the time, so you can actually like focus on the action for a moment. I think it's a cool little way to reach out to that like under let's like it's just not communicated to deaf community as often. BG's version More Than a Woman song as my entrance on the indies for a while, and it was just so different and it was just so fun, and it was one of those like everyone knew it. Just got the crowd in a good mood before a match and stuff. Like it's just one of those like feel good songs. And then when I was doing the alien thing still, I would be like, oh, she's more than a woman because she's an alien. And now it's Just more than a woman leaves what I am up to interpretation by the audience now. So it's kind of like I can be whatever you want to be, or however you want to perceive me is whatever you want, because being more than a woman is being more than what meets the eye and stuff like that. So I took it from the song, but then I made it more deep than it is.
This is TankRizzo from the Graveyards of Tijuana, Mexico. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, The Parts Unknown, and grave diggers keep digging.
Statlander would return at Double or Nothing in 2023 and make it clear that she had her sights set on the TBS championship that was held by Jade Cargill, who at the time had a 60-match undefeated streak. Kris would end the streak and obtain her first championship in AEW. Statlander was a dominant champion and would defend her title at every opportunity that she had. After multiple defenses, she would eventually have a rematch with the returning Jade Cargill that was not only Jade's final match in the company, but the single best match of her entire AEW career. If this wasn't enough, a mere 3 days later, Statlander would have yet another rematch, this time with Britt Baker, and not only would she retain her title, but she would also give Britt Baker her third best match of her career at that time as well. Statlander would hold the TBS title for 174 days, eventually losing it to Julia Hart in a three-way match with Sky Blue at Full Gear at the end of the year.
I feared that in my head I didn't deserve to have this big of a moment because I haven't been here. I've maybe had a total of 18 months that I've been gone due to injuries, and I was like, I know I work hard. I know I work hard at home coming back from these injuries, and I feel so terrible that I can't consistently be on TV because of these injuries, but I know that I'm putting everything that I have into something like this. It really sucks when you can't do something that you love, and just to have it taken away from you. And I would be here as much as I could just to be a part of it and to support everyone. And at first I felt like I was just in the way, and I was like, why did I even bother to come here? I can't do anything. But then everyone's like, no, we love you, we want you here. I was like, okay. And then now, just seeing everyone backstage and seeing the reaction, I was like, man, you love me. And it's very special. So even when it's very sad, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Renee, you know what pickles my egg? I'm out here training every single day, 24/7. I'm doing it right now. You better brush your teeth. You better put your PJs on. You better clean out the gutter, wash the car, and you better recaulk the tub, because tomorrow night on Collision, Mama's coming home.
And I feel like every single time that I've come back from one of my major injuries, I feel like I've continued to add to my repertoire, and I've continued to improve who I am, as opposed to like, oh, I'm injured, so now I have to limit myself on these things. Mm-hmm. So I take pride in the fact that I have never let my injuries kind of deter me from who I am as a performer. Every single time I've done like a big return, I always go above and beyond, and not to say that other people haven't done that, but I know me, and I know that I'm gonna throw myself right off the deep end immediately, just to be like, no, I'm good to go. There's no doubts in my mind. There's no doubts in anybody's mind. I'm fine. I remember like my first match back after my second ACL tear. It technically was the TBS title match where I won the title. But then I defended it immediately on that Dynamite, and I used a 450 as my finisher that day. And people were like, she's whipping out a 450 after her second knee surgery. And I was just like, yes, because I'm showing everyone that I am capable of this still, and I am good to go. And I had no doubt in my mind. So I don't want anyone to doubt me. But I might just be, a little off my rocker.
Thank you for watching Mr. Hotgrave from Parts unknown.
After losing the TBS title, Statlander would enter a feud with Willow Nightingale that would escalate into a series of hardcore street fight matches that would reach a grand climax at All Out in 2024. This match would not only end the feud between Kris and Willow, but it would see Statlander elevate her craft to a new level. It would seem at the time that it would be hard to top both the emotional content of this feud and the actual matches that were some of the best of her entire career to date, especially this final match, but it would turn out to be only the beginning for Statlander.
You learn a lot about yourself when you are pushed to your limits with someone, especially someone that you were so close to.
I have never felt like cooler in my life. I know that like I come off as a crazy person. Like, being able to get hurt and be okay, and then I'm like, no, I'm good. Let's go.
So what went through your head when you did that split leg on the thumbtacks? Because that was wild.
I mean, I didn't feel good about it. It wasn't what I wanted to happen. It wasn't also like the best plan to be like, let me go for a scissor kick. Like, because I was gonna have to land on it in some degree anyway, but I wasn't planning on her moving out of the way. So that was not, that wasn't my goal. But I on the bright side, it got one of the craziest reactions that I've ever heard, and I am happy that I was able to create that moment by sacrificing my loin.
Another shocking split we saw, though, was when you punched Orange Cassidy.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel about that now?
I do have some regrets, I will admit. I don't think he deserved it because he had been my best friend for so long, and I think a lot of things was just really getting to me, where it's like best friends had broken up. Willow was getting a lot more spotlight over me, and I was letting everything get to me, and I was taking it out on the wrong people. And I don't know if there's ever a chance for reconciliation, but if there were to be, I would be very grateful because I admire and respect Orange so much. There's so many girls that I've never wrestled, and I'm like, I have to beat up every single one of them as soon as possible. I don't know what we're waiting for.
With the momentum she gained from her white-hot feud with Willow Nightingale, Kris Statlander was on a collision course with the current TBS champion, Mercedes Mone, and they would proceed to have two of the best matches that either woman had in AEW. But not only that, these were two of the best women's matches of all time in AEW. And the first encounter that they had at Full Gear being extra notable for being the single longest women's match in AEW history as well, at close to 20 minutes.
It's definitely one of my most difficult challenges, and obviously I did not win. So there's still a lot to learn from that. I don't even think necessarily the length of a match has anything to do with how good it is. I think, we were able to tell a story, and we were able to captivate an audience in a way that I guess people are saying has never been done before. And I am just genuinely proud to have been able to put on that performance. And I'm proud to have hung in there with, one of the best in the world. And hopefully next time it happens, I'm able to come out on top and prove that I am also one of the best in the world. I've done a lot of things that I'm very proud of and that I'm very satisfied with I've gotten to do. But I'm never fully satisfied. And I feel like there's so much more that I can do, that I can prove that I can do, that I need to prove that I can do. And I don't plan on stopping until my head falls off. So
well, as we're talking about the future, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What is your future look like? Is there something you haven't done yet that you'd like to do?
There's a lot of things I haven't done. I've never wrestled in Japan. I've never wrestled in Mexico. Actually, when we were at All In earlier this year and we were in London for All In earlier this year, that was my first time ever in life leaving North America.
Wow.
So I haven't done a whole lot of international travel, and I would love to. That's something that is very high on my list. I've only won the TBS championship. The AEW Women's World Championship is something that has always been on my mind.
We would love to see that.
Yeah.
That's something I think we would all love to see.
Yeah.
Is there, okay, we're going to wrap this up real quick, but is there an opponent that maybe you really either haven't wrestled yet or somebody you love wrestling that you'd like to wrestle against?
I mean, there's actually a lot of people that I have not wrestled. Toni Storm, I never wrestled her in a singles match. Mariah May, Serena Deeb, Harley Cameron, I would love another shot at. Mercedes Mone, I would love another shot at. I feel like Willow and I need to have a break from each other after what we've done. Although maybe down the line there's something there again that I would love to reignite.
And do you see you guys rekindling the friendship that you once had?
I mean, I was the one that wronged her, and I feel like I'm at a place now where I can admit that. And I don't think it's up to me.
Right here, you're witnessing.
Yes, I don't think it's up to me to determine that. But
okay.
I may consider extending an olive branch now that I'm at a place where I can acknowledge that I kind of lost my marbles a little bit.
It happens. It happens. Well, now while we're talking about righting wrongs, let's talk about the best friends. Is that something with that potential? Will we see Kris Statlander join Orange Cassidy? Orange clearly has more. He's bitten off more than he can handle with the Death Rider. Are you going to join in on that fight? Imagine a fight between yourself, Marina Shafir.
Mm-hmm.
The fans are clamoring for that. What's your comments on that?
I mean, again, I was the one that kind of did the wrong in that situation, and I can acknowledge that. It's another situation where I don't know if it's up to me. And I feel like all the repercussions of my actions are starting to come back on me, where I don't really have anyone in my corner at this point. Like going into Full Gear with Mercedes, I was alone. I didn't have anybody there for me. And when I was getting attacked for weeks on end, I didn't have anyone out there for me. And I deserved that. But I feel like I do miss best friends. I miss having friends, and I would like to reconsider my action.
If it weren't for OC, I would not be half the wrestler that I am today. I owe so much of everything I've ever done to him, because sure, we wrestled a few times on the indies and we were friends, but it wasn't until we both came to AEW that we really became best friends. And he always checks on me, I always check on him. We truly have each other's backs. We really are best friends. We travel, we hang out together. And it was emotional walking into that, seeing the state that he's in, seeing what he was about to get himself into. And I think at the end, after everything had went down, all of us, me, Trent, and Chuck, we were all standing in there about to cry, like about to hug him, and we were all like trying to hold back tears. So they'll probably be mad at me for saying that we were all about to cry, but I was about to cry, and we all love him, and we were telling him how much we love him. He's truly best. I'm getting, get it together. All right.
Mr. Hargrave from Parts Unknown, you expressed some regret about how you treated Orange Cassidy a little bit ago. Have you been able to make up with him? Do you have plans to do that?
You know, he's very busy and he's got a lot on his hands right now, and I don't think adding me being sad ex-friend to the mix is the best time, but I would like to, and I'm just trying to find the best way to go about it.
I've hurt a lot of my friends, and I feel like now I have to, the ending of 2024 kind of ended with me realizing what I've done. And now I'm starting this year very alone and dealing with the consequences and trying to figure out whether I deserve the forgiveness or not. Things kind of a lot of times just went bad for me after I lost the title. And very well aware of that now, like reflecting on it. And part of me feels like maybe if I have a championship again, TBS title, women's championship, anything, that maybe like I'm not a loser anymore, and maybe like Willow or the best friends will see the value in me. Like what have I done? I've just lost a lot since then. And it's, again, probably from their perspective, that's probably what I deserve. So I in an ideal world, all three of those things will come true.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe the first step might be trying to focus on a title or trying to focus on something to prove that I can be better than what I was.
your laundry clean. Didn't want no one to hold you